Welcome to the Urban Madness Workshop. Today I'm going to talk about riding the Hornet, the Moto Brovo Hornet. This isn't actually going to be a ride video because it's not my bike. I have test driven it as I have done some work to it. One of the things about this bike is the riding position's not quite right for me, or it feels awkward to me, I should say. I feel like I'm eating my knees. I've got a 30-inch inseam, which isn't a big inseam, and it feels like the foot pegs are just in the wrong position for me. But again, you know, it's not something I couldn't get used to. It is a fun bike to ride. Feels like a motorcycle. It's a little bit different riding than a scooter because of that. I'm more comfortable on the step-through scooters because that's what I've put the most miles on. I have ridden a few Enduros, but not a sport bike. But again, you're not in the classic sport bike riding position on this bike. It does take a little getting used to if you ride scooters. I'm not sure if you were coming from a motorcycle background, whether it would feel awkward. It is more of an upright seating position on this bike. It's not the traditional sport bike positioning. I think it would be more comfortable if it was a sport bike position, because I feel like I want to put my legs back and I can't because of where the pegs are, unless, I don't know, maybe you could use these pegs up here. I'd have to kind of play with it and find out. It wouldn't be something I couldn't get used to though. It is a fun bike. I would not choose it as my commuter, but that's more because ergonomics, and my commute's about 15 miles each way. This bike here has done really well for me as far as commuting goes. That one would probably even be more comfortable, but it is a kick in the pants to ride. This one here, we've still got a carburetor issue we got to take care of. If you work on your own bikes, this one is a bit of a chore to do things like valve adjustments on, because you've got the aluminum frame in the way. It's not just the plastics on this, but the frame is really in the way. I actually had to drop the tank out of this to do a valve adjustment. This is not the fuel tank on this bike. That's actually a storage compartment. The fuel tank is underneath that fairing there. And while it wasn't real bad, it was just a little bit more time consuming. And it is a little bit of a pain to get that feeler gauge up there on that exhaust valve, and the intake one's just a lot of fun. Let's just leave it at that. The bike itself, it's a neat looking little bike. It really is. I like the styling. I like the exhaust note on it. And you know, it sounds stupid that you'd put that in a bike review, but the exhaust note sounds right. The variator in it feels right. You know, some of them you pull the throttle on them and it feels like that engine just cranks way up before it grabs, and this one here, it's right on the money. Shanky's kind of like that. You feel like you're turning too many RPMs. I'm actually thinking about putting some heavier weights in it because of that. That one there is right on. But yeah, this is like I said, it's a fun bike. We get that carburetor issue sorted on this thing, and it's going to be a real fun bike. It's got a tach, and of course your speedometer, fuel gauge. The speedometer, the light's burned out in it, but it's not a bad little bike. It's you paid $700 for it. That's about what I would pay for one of these. I wouldn't go paying too much more than that. I definitely wouldn't buy one of these new, because they go for about $1,800 new, and for that kind of money you can get into a little 250 Ninja or something if you like this style bike, and you'd probably be a lot happier with it because you'd have something that was freeway capable, something that actually felt like a motorcycle in terms of acceleration. This has got scooter acceleration. It's not bad. I mean, it's one of the better as far as acceleration I've ridden, even with it running sick. It's a fun all-around bike. It really is. It's kind of a shame that for that kind of money that they didn't stick a 300 fuel injected engine in them, but you know, it is what it is. Like I said, this kid did pretty good. He bought it for 700, and he's willing to put a little bit of money in it to get it running better. He's already talking about, oh, how can I make it faster? I'm like, get a bigger bike. You can make them faster, but not as daily transportation if you want them to last. And I said, you know, you can make it fast and all, bring your checkbook, but at the end of the day, by the kind of money you have in it, you're better off buying a used Ninja. So that's where we are with it. Like I said, it is a fun little bike. I would own one, but not as the primary. It would be more of a toy. This is, besides my trucks, this is my primary transportation as far as commuting to work. And this one's done pretty good. It's a little bit, I wish it was just a tad faster, but it's not, and it is what it is. It's a 150. If I was going to get another commuter, it'd be at least a 250, and I'm probably going to end up with a motorcycle instead.